each other's backs, we lift us up, making all the pieces meaningful. Give support to whoever's needing it. We know it's every single one of us, 'cause we're better together, more minds we have. The space we reach is a home that lasts. We find strength in numbers, part of a pack. Share goodwill, give a voice, give it back. Reflecting you and me, our community. Reflecting you and me, our community. 'Cause
Okay, well, just wanted to say hi, everyone. So very happy to have you with us today. I'm Scott Kelly, the Talk to Hear You Partner Outreach Lead. Today, we'll be discussing enhancing campaign effectiveness and collaboration. Now, these are two topics our partners wanted to learn more about. So today we put together an informative meeting with lots of discussion opportunities to cover these. Now, before we get started, I want to note that we're recording this meeting. If you have any questions at any point, please add them to the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen, or you can type them in the chat. And if you joined us early, you'll have seen that we have this icebreaker. I'll pull it up. We have this icebreaker. Now, for everyone who is joining now, the icebreaker is this. Las Vegas hosted the Super Bowl this year for the first time. What two cities have hosted the most Super Bowls? Please type your answer in the chat. We'll give you another 30 or more seconds to provide your answer, and then we'll go from there. See a lot of great answers there. A few more seconds. Again, what Las Vegas hosted the Super Bowl this year for the first time, but what two cities have hosted the most Super Bowls? Okay, and the answer is, drum roll, the number one city that's hosted the most Super Bowls is Miami with 11, followed by Los Angeles with 8. And the reason those two cities are the top, it's the NFL wants warm weather and lots of hotel rooms from its Super Bowl host. And Miami and Los Angeles, New Orleans, and of course, Las Vegas have a lot of both. So hope that everybody enjoyed that icebreaker, and we're excited to get started. And again, welcome to the Talk to Hear You Community Engagement Meeting. Now, we started today's meeting with this icebreaker because we want to get people comfortable and engaged. This meeting is focused on collaboration and hearing from other partners about their successes and their challenges. Our goal is to ensure you have the knowledge and the confidence to promote Talk to Hear You in meaningful ways that feel authentic to your organization. Now, as you can see from the agenda on the screen, we'll be moving into a focus on campaign promotion, followed by a poll question, some collaboration opportunities, and some ways to engage your audiences, and much more. Now, I'd like to introduce my first colleague for today's meeting, Marcy, who will talk about best practices in campaign promotion.
Thank you so much, Scott, and good afternoon, everyone. Achieving effective promotion for an alcohol or substance use prevention campaign is crucial in making significant impact. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some strategies and best practices to enhance the reach and effectiveness of your campaigns. First, let's talk about targeted messaging. It's essential to tailor your campaign's message to resonate with the target audiences you are aiming to reach. Understanding the unique preferences, challenges, and motivations of these groups enables us to craft messages that speak directly to their experiences and aspirations. Research has shown that positive messaging can be more effective in motivating behavior change compared to messaging that focuses primarily on the negative consequences of unhealthy behaviors. Highlighting the benefits of an alcohol and substance-free lifestyle, such as improved health, enhanced well-being, and greater life satisfaction, We shift the focus from the negative consequences of alcohol and substance use to the positive outcomes of making healthy decisions. Apologies, my computer froze just a little bit. All right. This positive framing not only encourages individuals to aspire to a healthier lifestyle, but also fosters a supportive environment where making such choices is celebrated and encouraged. Moving on to the next point, let's talk about the importance of partnerships and collaboration. When you join forces with local community organizations, schools, healthcare providers, and other stakeholders, your campaign's message can travel farther and reach more people. These partnerships help us use what's already there, the people, the places, and the energy, making our campaign stronger and more effective. It's all about working together to spread our healthy living message to as many people as possible. After seeing how important it is to work together with local groups and organizations, let's dive into another powerful tool, peer-to-peer influence. Imagine your friends or people you look up to in your community talking about making healthy choices. When they share their stories or advice, we listen, right? That's because we trust them and value their opinions. This is why involving peers and influencers in spreading our message is so effective. They can inspire and motivate others just by sharing their own experiences and choices. Next up, we've got interactive and engaging content. Think about the last time you really enjoyed learning something. Maybe it was a cool video that made you see things in a new light, a quiz that surprised you about what you didn't know, or a social media challenge that you couldn't wait to be a part of. That's the kind of experience we want to create with our campaign. To make our content truly engaging and interactive, we need to get creative and think outside the box. But how do we make sure this awesome content gets seen by everyone? This is where using multiple channels comes in. It's like casting a wide net. We use multiple channels such as Facebook, Instagram, newspapers, local events, workshops to reach people wherever they are. Some might see our message online, others at a community fair, but the goal is to make sure no one misses out. And here's another important aspect to consider, cultural sensitivity. Much like how we customize our campaign messages to connect deeply with specific groups, recognizing and honoring the diverse cultural backgrounds in our community is vital. It might be necessary to develop varied messages for different audiences to truly resonate on a personal level. This task goes beyond mere translation. It's about crafting messages that genuinely reflect and honor each group's values, traditions, and life experiences. By adopting this approach, we ensure our campaign doesn't just reach ears, but touches hearts and minds, making it relevant and impactful for everyone, irrespective of their cultural background. Such a nuanced and respectful strategy not only amplifies our message's reach, but also deepens our connection with the community, enhancing the overall effectiveness and reach of our campaign. We can't just stop after sending out our message, though. We need to keep the support going. This is what continued education and support are all about, offering help, advice, and more information whenever it's needed to ensure that everyone has the support they need to make and keep making healthy choices. In essence, building a successful prevention campaign is like putting together a puzzle. It requires a mix of strategies, connecting with the community, sharing through peers, engaging with fun content, reaching out through various channels, respecting cultural differences, and providing ongoing support. By putting all these pieces together, we can create a powerful and lasting impact in our community. Now, another powerful tool is storytelling. Imagine telling a story that grabs everyone's attention. That's what we do with storytelling in our campaigns. We share stories that people can see themselves in, which makes our message stick with them longer and feel more important. Then think about what happens when everyone in a class or at work works together on a big project. That's community involvement. It's like when all the students or coworkers contribute to a group project. Each person adds something unique. And in the end, the project is something everyone can be proud of. Our campaign works much the same way. When people feel they're a part of our efforts, they're more engaged and eager to spread the word, making the campaign more powerful. Now imagine if we can know exactly what works best to get our message across. That's where data-driven decision-making comes in. It's like looking at a map before going on a trip. By understanding which paths have been most successful before, we can choose the best route to take our message further, making sure it's seen and heard by as many people as possible. Lastly, think about those little reminders or signs that nudge you to do something, like a note on the fridge reminding you to eat more fruits and veggies or drink more water. That's what we mean by behavioral nudges. We create small prompts or reminders in our campaign that encourage people to make healthier choices, almost without thinking about it. It's a gentle push towards better habits. By using these strategies, telling great stories, getting the community involved, using facts to make decisions, and giving small nudges towards better choices, your campaign is much more likely to hit home with the people you're trying to reach. These methods help make your message not just heard, but really felt and remembered by everyone. This means more people paying attention and getting involved, making your efforts truly stand out and bring about the positive changes you're aiming for. Now I will pass it over to my colleague, Keisha, who will discuss how to measure campaign success.
Thank you, Marcy. Now let's talk about ways that you can help gauge your success for your campaign. So these metrics provide valuable insights into how your promotion efforts are performing. If you attended our last community engagement meeting, we talked about this a little bit, but as it relates to social media, this time we've included ways that you can measure success outside of social media as well. So one way that you can measure the success of your campaign is through reach and engagement. This is a metric that we did talk about for social media, which is the number of people exposed to your content and the level of engagement with the content. So this is measured in likes, shares, comments, and also website visits. The next way that you can measure campaign effectiveness is through your audience awareness and knowledge. This involves conducting surveys or interviews to assess changes in their awareness and knowledge about substance use prevention within your target audience. Next, we have behavior change. This includes attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors related to substance use that you can measure through pre- and post-campaign surveys as well. Another great thing to consider is partnerships and collaboration. You can measure the effectiveness of your campaign by the engagement, involvement, and collaboration you're receiving from partners and collaborators, and essentially the number of partners who desire to be involved or contribute to the campaign. Next on the list, we have media coverage. From a visibility standpoint, monitoring media coverage can help you to gauge the campaign's awareness and impact beyond just paid advertising and social media. And then lastly, referral and help seeking. When individuals are seeking additional information, have questions, want to know more about your resources, and are asking for support, that is a result of your campaign efforts. So this is a great indicator that your campaign is being seen, heard, and valued by the audience that you intended to. So by tracking these areas, you're able to gain a holistic understanding, as Marcy mentioned, kind of looking at all of the channels, and it'll really give you a holistic understanding of your campaign's effectiveness and allow you to make decisions on adjustments based on your findings. So now we want to go to the next slide because we want your feedback. We have a poll question for you, and that question is, have you implemented any unique campaign promotion strategies that have shown success? 1 is yes, 2 is no, or 3, you're currently experimenting. Please take a second to answer this poll question. And I see a few of you are answering yes, which is great. If you have any unique campaign promotion strategies that have shown success, feel free to put that in the chat. But also, we're going to have open discussion later. So we would love to hear from you directly if you have anything that is working well for you. Maybe some of the other partners can use that. Awesome. It looks like the majority of you, so it looks like everyone answered. The majority of you all are currently experimenting, which is great. I love that everyone is experimenting with different strategies and trying to figure out best ways to promote the campaign. 26% said yes, which is awesome. I hope to hear from you all either in the chat or during our open discussion. And then 30% said no, which is okay because we do want to be able to support you with some additional strategies. And now I will go to the next slide, and my colleague Scott will talk about the benefits of collaboration for campaign success.
Great, thank you, Keisha. I'd like to talk about strategies that promote internal collaboration. So this is collaboration within your own team or within your own organization. The first is to create an environment that enables fresh ideas. This can be a roundtable discussion or perhaps having a bulletin board where people post their ideas. The key, though, is to have a space where all ideas start out equally and open, honest discussion moves those best ideas forward. Next is you want to define clear goals and know what to expect from them. If everyone in your team knows what the goals are and what the timeline is to achieve those goals, then as people discuss the merits of an idea, they can see if that idea will move your organization towards achieving goals or not. Next is to involve everyone in solving problems that encourage progress. Everyone has strengths. Some people are good at looking at an idea and seeing the challenges or problems that an idea might cause. Others are good at thinking up solutions to those challenges. Both of these mindsets, both of these approaches are important because proposing an idea and identifying challenges and solving those is collaboration at its best, and it'll help your team to achieve its goals. Last is to negotiate a win-win outcome for achieving your organization's goals. So what's a typical win-win situation? When everyone on a team had a chance to pitch ideas, discuss ideas, and move the best ideas forward so that as people actually work on those ideas, they know how their work had a meaningful impact on what the end result would be. Next, we'd like to talk about 3 external ways that you can collaborate with other organizations. The first is every couple months, we send out, the Talk to Hear You team sends out an email that spotlights creative ways that our partners are implementing the campaign in their own communities. These spotlights are very popular. A lot of people read them and click on the links that are embedded in the email. There are 2 reasons why these spotlights are very good for external collaboration. The first is that you can see what another organization that's also in the prevention field is doing. And you can go back to your colleagues and say, hey, is this something that we could try? The other reason is because you can reach out to whoever was spotlighted and you can ask them and say, I saw that you implemented this idea in your community. And you can ask them, how did you come up with that idea? How did it go? And did it meet your goals? After a spotlight goes out, we've seen partners reach out to whoever was spotlighted, and that's led to a pretty exciting exchange of ideas. Another external opportunity is to attend conferences. Now, during the pandemic, in-person conferences pretty much stopped, but now in 2024, in-person conferences are happening again. In fact, SAMHSA just hosted its annual Prevention Day, and thousands of people in the prevention world attended that conference. So attending conferences where prevention is a focus, whether it's local, state, or national conference, is a great environment for hearing what others are doing, talking about a collaboration, exchanging business cards, and taking new ideas back to your organization to either discuss or perhaps partnering with another organization that attended that event, or both. Now, this will help you and the other organization share audiences, networks, and bandwidth. There's a third opportunity for external collaboration, and that's called collaborative content creation. My colleague Keisha can talk about that. Keisha?
Absolutely. In our social media trainings, many partners mentioned that social media can feel like a second job. I want to encourage you to consider working with another campaign partner to create engaging and informative content for the campaign. This could include collaborating on blog posts, articles, videos, infographics, and other multimedia materials that if you work together, this could help take some of the load off. If anyone would like to share additional ways that you can collaborate with each other, please feel free to share that in the chat. And again, feel free to come off of mute during our open discussion and talk about any other ways that you suggest.
Great. Thank you so much, Keisha. Now, as Keisha mentioned, we are going to be starting our open discussion. Now, for those of you who have joined past Talk to Hear You community engagement meetings, you know that we've always had breakout rooms. But for this meeting, we're going to go and try something a little bit different. We thought an open discussion involving everyone would be great to try. That way, everyone can hear everything that is being discussed. And this is, of course, a chance for our partners to share what you've done in the field, what you've done in your communities with the campaign. I do have a couple of questions that I'll be start using throughout to kind of keep the discussion going. But of course, if anyone has a question about Talk to Hear You at any point, please feel free to ask, either by unmuting yourself to ask or raising your hand or asking in the chat room. And as these questions are added to the chat, my colleagues will jump in to answer those. Now, I'd like to ask Keisha, who's kind of been monitoring the chat to see some of the questions that have been happening. If she sees a question or two that we could use to get the conversation started.
Yes, I actually don't see a question yet, but there were two comments that I really enjoyed. We asked if any of you are implementing any unique campaign strategies. And Mary, you mentioned that educational airplane banners were flying during the summer at the Jersey Shore, which is super exciting. So if you want to share more about that in our open discussion and come off mute, absolutely inviting you to do that. And Stephanie, I saw that you were tabled at community events with prize wheels and trivia questions, and that sounds super exciting as well. So if either of you want to come off of mute and discuss what kind of brought you maybe to those ideas, how those ideas went. And of course, I invite anyone else, if you have any unique campaign strategies, to let us know how those went, how those are going.
I'm happy to. Like, you hear me, right?
Yes. Hi, Mary.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm not used to not talking without a face, but anyway, so I feel that when people are on vacation, when families are on vacation, that you have a captive audience there at the beach. And we have a brand, well, I hate to say it, but it's like our branding, which is Don't Stall, Just Call. And it's a stop sign, and that we have created we have created these door bulletins, or actually magnets, that are at colleges around the area. And when people see the stop sign logo, whether it's on a car or whether it's on the banner at the Jersey Shore, and we fly like 3/4 of the coast of New Jersey on several weekends. And we do get grant money that helps pay for this. So we're just so grateful. And then we have some clever messaging that goes along with it, but it's always with our branding. So for anybody out there who has a brand that people recognize, that's so important as well. And when you see that our Don't Stall, Just Call stop sign, people know what it's about. And let me tell you, it engages people. People are sending pictures to our website, or not to our website, to our social media. It's just great. So it's an expensive endeavor, but it gives the opportunity, especially where there are lots of people drinking and over drinking, it appears, that it creates this safety messaging. So we like it. So thanks for recognizing that.
Absolutely. That is amazing. And if we are able to follow up with you after this, maybe you have some pictures we can share, we can spotlight you all. That would be great.
Excellent.
Awesome. And then I think, Stephanie, if you wanted to expand on the tables that you are able to have at community events, the prize wheels, the trivia questions, feel free, or if anyone else wants to unmute and share anything else.
Sure. I want to say that getting a prize wheel is actually pretty affordable through Amazon. You can use it's basically a whiteboard, and you can write in each section of the wheel on what you are giving away. The sort of strategy we used is we had a certain list of alcohol, basically alcohol information, and had it as multiple choice questions on basic information about alcohol. And what we would do is engage people by the prize wheel. That's really getting people to your table. And we have them spin the wheel first. And it's a variety of prizes that we, have available, whether it's like a homemade, bookmark that we just had printed with some information on there. Of course, like, pens, magnets, stickers, like the water bottle was like a nice water bottle was like the grand prize, so to speak. And then you can always fill in by like spin again, if you need a little filler there. But we would have people spin and say, you're going to get a prize no matter what, but, just answer a question for us first. So it didn't matter if they got the answer right or wrong. Essentially, we were just making sure that the actual question and then the answer was pretty clear and said out loud for anyone who was sort of at the table at that time.
That's great. And I see some partners in the chat mentioning that they love this idea as well. So definitely a great affordable idea for any of those who are looking to engage more at events. So that's awesome. There's two things I want to mention from the chat. So Roseanne, I know you mentioned any new resources, I believe it was you. And then Betty, I think you mentioned, are there plans for us to translate more printed materials into Spanish? So Jada actually has a slide later on where she's going to talk about new resources and resources that you all can utilize. And short answer, yes, we are working on translating more materials into Spanish, but Jada will also mention that and reference that in the resources slide. So thank you both for that. And I am skimming the chat currently. Also, if you want to include any questions for us in the Q&A, that is also the Q&A box. That's also welcome.
Hey, Keisha, we did have a question in the Q&A box around if we have any surveys that they can use. And currently we do not have any surveys, but that is such a great idea, especially for a community needs assessment. I believe that's what the question was referring to, or campaign implementation surveys and getting, feedback. So we'll definitely take that into consideration for new products. Love that idea.
Awesome.
Want to say,
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, sorry, Keisha. I was just going to say for Mary and Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing those ideas. And I'm just curious if there's anybody else that would like to jump in and talk about some sort of campaign strategy that you might have done in your community, perhaps involving the Talk to Hear You campaign or just prevention in general, that you'd like to share with everybody. I think we'd love to hear it, and it would certainly spark some ideas for campaign partners to maybe try something of their own. So I wanted to see if anybody had something they'd like to share.
And I will say Facebook ads seems to be a trend. I remember in our social media training, a lot of people mention Facebook ads, and I see it popping up still in the chat. So one thing that I think would be super helpful, if anyone has really done well with Facebook ads and has seen success with Facebook ads, feel free to share, because I know that was actually a pain point for some of our partners, and I know that would be helpful. But also, as Scott mentioned, anything outside of that, we welcome.
Hi, this is Kara from Coos Health and Wellness in Coos County, Oregon on the coast. And I put in the chat about reaching out to our local medical center in the pediatrics department to talk about kids and vaping and what we could do to support them. And we have made a kit to give them that has prevention materials. It has like Ditch the Vape, flyers with QR codes. It has a little notebook. It has a fidget spinner. It has chewing gum, suckers, lifesavers. Like I said, a notebook and a pencil, and a stress ball, like stress toy. All are branded with, Ditch the Vape, Smoke Free Oregon kind of things. I dropped off 24 because that's all the fidget spinners I had at the time in stock, and they were gone within days. And I took a plastic tote and I laminated and taped completely all over the tote for more kits call, text, email these people, myself and my prevention specialist. And within days, they had called and said, we need more. So I just received, and we're a very small community here on the coast. I mean, combined population, the whole county, 68,000 people. And this was just one medical center that we tested this in.
That's amazing. And I see you were willing to, or are willing to share what you put in the kits with partners, and partners are already dropping their emails in the chat because they would love the information. So thank you for sharing that. I think that's super, super helpful. All right, and Scott, at this time, I don't see any additional questions. If I'm wrong, anyone, please do unmute yourself and ask the question. I don't see any additional questions right now, so if you wanted to ask some questions that we had, feel free.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Hey,
And just to let
Scott.
everybody, oh, yes, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I have a quick question for Mary. Mary, I was wondering how you collaborated with the, I guess, airline? Or I'm just wondering how those conversations started. Did you reach out to them? Was this kind of something that somebody told you about?
Okay, so, oh, sorry if that freezes. So it was my idea because I was sitting on a beach with my family. I mean, honestly, so many of us do. In the summer, I'm from outside Philadelphia area. And I just thought, this is what I want. I mean, we've done billboards, we've done, it's amazing. It's amazing the things that we've been able to do. And thankfully for grant money. But anyway, so as far as that goes, the planes, I knew somebody who worked for a big corporation. I said, do you know anything about advertising on the beach? Because most of it, for those of you that do get to be on a beach, it looks like all alcohol ads, all Saturday and Sunday and through the week. And I'm like, you know what, we can do better than that. And so let's do it. So one of our logos, I just want to say that we use our hashtags is learn the signs, or do you know the signs of alcohol poisoning? Learn the signs. And I think like right here, this is the logo that we're talking about, that around here, people actually recognize it. People have it on their cars. The students, look, this is for Temple University. People have it in their schools. This, when you say who collaborated, Chelsea, to work on even these signs, this was the Temple University School of Public Health, who I worked with. But we've been, I created this about, my son died 9 years ago in January. So this was created after Christian died. So we've been, like, you can see my messy office and stuff like that. But people want to do things. People want to help. And we have to give them opportunities to help. And so if they have money, you know, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
That's great, Mary.
Yeah, so there you go. So
Yeah,
just
thank you.
ask, anybody can ask me anything and I'm happy to help.
And I think sometimes, you know, if you're brand new, or say if you don't have grant money even to start, I feel like some people just don't know where they can go. And I think, Mary, it's like if you have an idea, just start looking around, start networking. We're going to bring this up later, but we are in the process of creating a Facebook group for all of our campaign partners, so you guys can keep this conversation going, share emails, share ideas about all of these things, and start to network on there, because, you know, just networking, maybe even people have funds that you might be able to use to do this if you don't have a grant. So those collaborations are really key. So I appreciate that.
I just want to say, if there's any other Pennsylvania people there, there's a Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board grant that is due on March 15th. It's $40,000, 20,000, 20,000. Like, this is big money. And many other states probably have things like that as well. So
Great.
good
Thank
luck.
you so much, Mary.
Could I ask a question? Is the app in Spanish?
The app is currently not in Spanish.
Okay, so is that in the plan? To
Yes.
be in Spanish?
Yes, that is one of the products that we definitely want to translate.
Thank you so much, because my community is 70% Latino. And people respond to stuff like apps, and you know, we could track downloads and things. And do you have a timeline of when you would expect that?
Rob, Nell, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
if you want to hop, Nell or Rob, if you want to say anything about that specifically.
Yeah, we don't have an immediate timeline. One of the things we're working on is what's the best approach to do that. We have many things to translate, and that's actually part of the evaluation of how we're going to prioritize that. It's the same for Screen for Success. So we're currently going through the inventory, and I'll apologize for our woefully inadequate Spanish translation, although I would just extend this to folks as well. We can't do it with the mobile app right away just because of the very nature of the mobile app. So that's a much more complex conversation to be held.
Okay.
But with the materials, if there are materials that you are translating locally, if you would be willing to share them with us, we would be willing to repost them and, do other things so that we can sort of propagate them and share them with other folks as well. So I know that's not a fully satisfying answer. My apologies. We're over 500 products at this point, and trying to get all that done is, as you might imagine, we're the little engine that you could. We don't have a big budget, but we keep pushing. So.
No, I'm very grateful for your materials. Please don't think I'm not, but I would love to get your app in Spanish.
No, we as well. And it is I think it's about 26% of America. The Latino community is much larger than I think people often recognize.
Well, in my community, it's 65%. So
well, I'm just saying
Yeah.
broadly in America, but you're exactly
Yeah.
right. Depending on where you're at in the country, it can be, much larger. My old home state of Washington State, my friend and mentor worked in probably an 80% plus community. And so, I could hear John screaming in my ear, "Where's my?" I'm working on it, John. But all of that said, please help us, because we would like to enlist folks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll put my email in. I would be happy to connect you with people in my community who could give you input on creating the app.
We would much appreciate that and embrace that. Talk They Hear You is a campaign that is built by you for you. So, everything we've developed is because somebody on a call like this said, "Hey, we need this." So.
Okay, so I'm going to put my name in the chat with my email. We're trying to launch youth mental health first aid in Spanish in our community right now as well. And have you considered a text line with your information that people could sign up for? Like where you push out information, maybe on a weekly or a monthly basis?
We're not doing that through text. We're actually doing that through the newsletter that Scott had
Okay.
spoke about earlier. So that's really been our approach to that at this point.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, good. Thank you, Alice, for sharing your info with us. We'll definitely be reaching out. And again, just to reiterate for everyone what Rob was saying, if you have Spanish translation abilities that you are already working on in your community and with our products, or you want a specific product and you can get that translated, please work with us, because we do want to be able to share that with everyone. And I feel like just keeping connected with us so that we can circulate it would be fantastic. And then once we get to that point where we're able to do the full translation, we'll at least have a lot of input from everybody who has already done something with it.
And Alice, thank you. I saw that you put your email in there. We'll make sure that we get you signed up for our newsletter. If there's anybody else on the call that does not currently receive the Talk to Hear You newsletters that we send out, usually put your email in the chat, and we will make sure to get you signed up for that.
I do get it, but what I wanted to say is, like my school district has a social emotional learning text that goes out every other week, right? That parents sign up for. The Partnership to End Addiction has a outgoing text every couple weeks. And like, if you did something like that, we could advertise it to our people to sign up for it. And you have so much amazing content that you could put out every week through an outgoing text in English and Spanish, that would just help you get it out. And it would help us ensure that our parents get prevention information on a regular basis in their language of preference.
Alice, I promise you, we will look into it and see what we can
Okay,
do.
thank you.
So it's a great idea. I just don't know the logistics of the technology, so we just need to explore
Sure.
the technology
Thank you.
usage and see how we can approach it.
And then just to let everyone know, I'm sure everybody here knows who Rob, Vincent, and Nell Nadal are. They are rock stars in the prevention community, but they both work for the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration. So, okay, well, this has been fantastic. I mean, we have a few more minutes left before we leave the open discussion and move on. Maybe I could post a question to our partners and see if anybody wants to jump in. Summer break is coming up in a couple months. Summer will be out. And we know that a lot of our partners have campaigns that they run the weeks leading up to summer break and then going into summer break to talk about prevention with students being out of school. Is there any partners that have some sort of campaign that they do leading up to and involving summer break that they would like to talk about? It's okay. Yeah, if no one has anything, that's okay. We do have a few more minutes left. Any of my colleagues, yes.
I have one thing that we do. We do a focus group every summer with high school, and through our social media, we sometimes ask if anybody's interested in coming. And we have this focus group for high school and college students that come together and around a fire pit and chat about the, what is going on at their schools, their individual schools, and what the culture is of alcohol and or drugs. And that is really awesome. And we also do a yoga night outside that for wellness, but we encourage people to do things that are fun without alcohol. And so we have to walk the walk. Like, we create these opportunities, and people come, and every year it's become more and more, and it's just a beautiful thing. And anybody can do it.
That's great, Mary. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're so welcome.
Hello, I'm Roseanne Grady, and I represent Sumter Cab Coalition in Sumter County, Florida. And one of our big campaigns in the summer, in June and July, we partner with the local youth center, and we host Summer Nights Done Right, which is our summer program of our regular school year, Friday Night Done Right campaign to show students they can have fun on any night, Friday night, any night, without using any substances. And one of the Fridays, well, actually we do it on a Thursday in the summer, we have our community resource from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office bring their DUI unit, and they have the simulator with the push cart and the marijuana and alcohol goggles, and engage in a little presentation to the youth that attend the summer nights on that particular night. And we talk about impaired driving. Even if they're not driving yet, we just talk to them about the substance misuse and show them what it's like when they are impaired.
That's amazing, Roseanne. Thank you so much for sharing. What a great idea. How's your participation with that?
Well, since we moved last summer from Friday to Thursday nights, and that was a conflict with the youth center, actually, our enrollment went up. We were averaging anywhere from 100 to 130 middle to high school students at each of the 6 events. And like another Thursday, we have like a water night where we have a couple water slides. They have fun. And with local donations, we're able to give them pizza, chips, and water and a soft drink. We usually host for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours for that event.
Wow, that's great. I'm curious how you market it.
It's really word of mouth, and with our flyers we use on Facebook, and we have a small teen council, and they also put it on their social media networks that they use. I don't do anything but the Facebook for the coalition, and it's gone very well. We've done this for about 4 summers now because our county, I think maybe you might have heard of the retirement community called the Villages, and that is primarily 55 plus and most of Sumter County. So we have under 8,000 of K through 12 students. So we're a small student population, and the county really has nothing for the youth to do. There's no YMCA. So this is something that's great to offer to our youth.
That's great. What a great idea.
Hi, I'm Betty. I'm from Utah, very rural county, Summit County. And I have Roxanne, first of all, I'm messaging you because I would love more information about Friday Night Done Right. But I have an idea for this summer to put together like a 6-week like chess instruction and creating like a chess club, because we're a total desert when it comes to programming that isn't sports. But then also in conjunction with the 6-week like instruction, putting together a parent workshop so that we're starting to teach parents you know, the tools and the conversations to have with their kids, and that's part of their kids getting free instruction for chess. And then having a conversation with our library about actually keeping the chess club going as library programming. So I haven't done it yet. I have no idea how it's going to go, but it's just an idea that I thought I would share with the group.
It's going to go great, I'm sure. Betty, have you looked into our Parents' Night Out sessions?
I have not.
Okay, we'll send you a link in the chat, but I think that would be really helpful for your you know, the educational sessions for parents. So we have a 1 hour and a 3 hour in person that you can download, and it's a pre-made PowerPoint with talking points. There's guides and all of that. You can adjust it to however you need it with your population and your parents, because you know them well. So hopefully that's there for you, and you won't need to do too much on that end, but you can just add to it.
That's amazing. And can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Is all of the programming that you guys offer, is it all evidence-based?
Yes, it's
okay.
So we've developed all of our messaging based on research that has been done around parents talking to their children.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I have to make sure that everything's evidence-based for our funding.
Absolutely.
Well, I can speak for this. If you're doing anything with SAMHSA federal dollars, anything we've produced is an allowable expense.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just in case and if anybody ever pushes back on that with you, feel free to give them my name and number, Rob Vincent, the Associate Administrator for Alcohol and Prevention Treatment Policy, and I'd be happy to clear that up for them.
Thank you. That is so wonderful. I appreciate that.
I did want to mention while you're on that, one of the future products, and we haven't talked about it a lot in these groups, but it is in the pipeline, is what we're calling Spark, which is strengthening parent awareness, rapport, and communication. And that's pretty much in line with your idea around your 6-week. It is the idea there is to design an intervention for parents who are experiencing some difficulties in a situation that way. So But that's coming to a theater near you in the future. So.
Well, I just want to say thank you, everyone. I mean, this discussion has been just terrific. And if you have a question that you'd like to ask, but we don't have the time, or if you have an idea or something that your organization has done that you want to share, please feel free to put it into the chat. We are going to look at the chat after this meeting is over. We'll get back to everybody and answer questions, and we'll share ideas. And of course, Chelsea had mentioned a little bit earlier about the Facebook group that we're putting together. And that Facebook group, once it goes live, which we're very excited about, that'll be another opportunity to continue all these wonderful discussions. So with that, I'd like to, I guess, close the open discussion. And now I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, to Jada, to continue on. Jada?
Thank you, Scott. So as Scott mentioned, the Talk They Hear You campaign has a suite of products available for you, our campaign partners. This includes the following products: Parents Night Out, which is an interactive session that aims to inform parents and caregivers about underage drinking and other drug use while preparing and motivating them to talk with their kids. The What Parents Are Saying podcast, which provides a platform for discussions with parents, caregivers, and experts that lend their perspectives and experiences on how to navigate conversations around underage drinking and other drug use. Also, we have Screen for Success, which is a screening tool for you and those you care about. Specifically, it provides a better understanding of personal health, wellness, and well-being. We will be releasing a professional version of Screen for Success that will provide a data management system for organizations that want to administer the S4S screener. The professional version is still in development and will be launched for school year 2024-2025. And I wanted to mention another resource coming down the pike in October 2024 that will accompany the professional version of Screen for Success, are materials for screening, brief interventions, and referral services, or SPRs. We are very excited about these and will keep you updated on launch dates and provide more information during the future community engagement meetings. The campaign also has print PSAs that can be converted into billboards. The success of the billboards can be tracked via impressions or the number of times the billboard is seen by individuals. We know your jobs are hard, especially working within your own communities, and social media is a complete job within itself. Talk They Hear You is here to make that a little bit easier. The campaign creates and shares monthly pre-crafted social media posts for our campaign partners. All you have to do is click posts and track the success of your posts, such as the number of likes, retweets, views, comments, and more. The campaign also has other pre-made materials like brochures, flyers, fact sheets, TV and print PSAs, and more. As mentioned earlier, we know there's a high demand for these resources in Spanish, and we have heard you, and we're working on providing this to our partners. In the meantime, if you have the ability to translate materials on your own, please reach out to us, as we'd love to work with you and would appreciate the help. Also, feel free to take advantage of these resources and save yourself time for the truly important work you do within our communities. Next, I'll turn things over to Kaylee.
Thanks, Jada. Hi, everyone. There are several ways that you can engage with us and your community. First, engage with us by following us on social media. We have all of our platforms and our handles listed on the next slide. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, which we've been saying a couple of times throughout the call. Each month we send the email with the pre-crafted social media messaging that you can use to supplement what you already have planned. These posts promote the Talk They Hear You campaign, so it's really great for us when you share these too. Also, as you're creating content, maybe using some of those billboards to make them more with your branding, make sure you use the Talk They Hear You hashtag in your posts. That way, all of the Talk They Hear You posts are connected and somebody who's scrolling can see all of the posts together and learn more about the campaign. Ways to connect with your community and local leaders. You can connect with them You can connect with them and other organizations to strengthen your impact. You can partner with other organizations or similar coalitions, like the partners on this call, to collaborate on events or efforts to reach a wider audience and get a greater attendance. Reach out via email, phone, or even through social media. Also, you could reach out to local mayors, city council members, or any other community leaders to attend events. Their presence shows that the community is connected and that they support youth substance use prevention, and it fosters that sense of connectedness. Also, I was reading along in the chat and somebody was mentioning reaching out to principals and counselors in local schools. This is a great way to get creative with who you're reaching out to, and making sure that you're aligning their goals with your goals. And of course, whenever you're collaborating with somebody, make sure that you take lots of pictures, post it all on social media, and tag everybody so that all of your efforts reach a wider audience, and you engage more people.
Great. Thank you so much, Kaylee. And again, I'd just like to thank everyone for your valuable feedback, and to encourage you to contact us at the email that you see on the screen if you have any questions, especially if it's something that we missed today, or maybe anything that you would need from us down the road. We're here to help. If you haven't done so already, please sign up for our campaign e-newsletter, and then you can listen to our podcasts as well, which have been added to the chat box, the links to those. You can also follow SAMHSA on the social media platforms that are listed on the slide, and you can engage us online using the Talk to Hear You hashtag. Lastly, we're in the final stages of starting our Talk to Hear You Facebook group that we've mentioned a couple times. Again, this will be another great opportunity for collaboration and engagement. We'll share more details in the weeks ahead about this. And of course, please stay tuned for our session recap email about today's community engagement meeting, which will have information about the themes and some of the topics that we touched on today. So with that, I'd like to turn things over to Rob to kind of close us out. Mr. Rob?
Thanks, Scott. And let me just say, first of all, thank you to each and every one of you. The work that you do is incredibly important to the youth of America and to the parents, to assist them in having these conversations. And for years, some of you have heard me talk about, oftentimes we want to give them the one big message. And what you're doing every day and what we're hoping to lead parents and caregivers to is the 61-minute messages, which means an ongoing conversation repeatedly. Just because we've had the conversation doesn't mean it's going to change anything. What we have to do is stay in the conversation, especially for communities that are really struggling sometimes with either high volumes of acute alcohol intoxication or poisoning, listening to some of the conversation and some of the things that some of you are dealing with here every day. It's very clear to me the importance of that work. We are here to serve collectively as a team. So please don't hesitate to engage us, offer up ideas. If there's a product or something that we've missed, please let us know. If there's something that is not working, please let us know. My email, I'll make sure I put it in the chat. You are always welcome to reach out to me directly should you have a problem in any way with this campaign, and I would be happy to problem solve it. I can't guarantee I'll have a perfect answer. I can't promise you that I'll be able to solve it perfectly. What I can promise you is that we will pay attention to it, and we will do everything in our capability to make sure that it's right and that it's good for you. That said, please stay tuned as we continue to evolve this campaign. There are a number of products that are in the pipeline coming in the future, and we would certainly like your engagement and input on, as we've always asked. I did notice there was a question around surveys, and one of the things we did several years back was that we had a parent survey that we were using. There was an adaptation that we had thought about deploying to communities, but never did. And so we'll take a look at that as well and see if we can pass that along to folks for their utilization. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and say thank you to the team. Please reach out at any point in time. Let me put one more plug in. We are often looking for guest spots on our What Parents Are Saying. So within your communities, if you happen to have parents and caregivers that would like to show up on our podcast, please send that information forward to us and the team will take a look at it. And if we can create a great storyline and an arc that works for everybody, we will most assuredly look at that and see if we can make that realized for you. Again, this campaign is your campaign. And so we appreciate all of the time and care that you've taken. With that, I'll turn it back to Scott and we will adjourn from here, I believe.
Thank you so much, Rob. And just like to, as everybody is leaving, just wanted to put up a survey that we have for everybody. If you take out your smartphone, take a photo of the QR code, it'll go to a survey. We'd love to get some final feedback from people, some ideas, some resources or questions that you might have. And with that, I want to thank everybody for participating. We'll keep this slide up for another couple minutes, and just wanted to say thank you so much and have a great rest of the week.